Hello, this is Spellbinder with this update on the government scams. Now they're going to bail out Brown. That's right. UPS is going to get a bailout, apparently from the government. They're going to put some words in a bill they're going to pass, and Brown gets money to go against FedEx because FedEx is doing better because they got things called airplanes that fly real fast and get things across the country. Well, apparently UPS doesn't have as much or have that at all. They're ground freighters. So this is how it goes.
Alright, getting a government bailout. Let's say you're a huge shipping company with a virtual monopoly on package delivery. But uh-oh, here comes a competitor. They have planes that go really fast. They're reliable, they're stealing your customers, and they're ruining your business. So what do? Well, you could try and improve your own business, compete in the marketplace, modernize.
Yeah, that makes too much sense.
That's hard work. Instead, how about slipping a few words into an important government bill that gets you a bailout? Get them to pass legislation that puts your competitor at a disadvantage. Sound impossible? It's not. We're doing it right now. But shh, don't tell anybody.
See, they're going to bail out Brown. I can't believe this criminal government. It's still criminalizing. We can't get anything done fast enough because they're moving faster than we can. Here's another one. Here it is. One piece of moderately good economic news and 14 pieces of bad economic news that are so horrifying you might not want to read them standing up. And that's how this goes here. This is like insanity. Oh, I get it. It's not a joke. It's going to do this to me. It's called bull hockey. Okay, and there we go. Today, the financial world was buzzing with excitement because there was one moderately good piece of news for the U.S. economy. The U.S. employers added 151,000 jobs during the month of October, but the unemployment rate remains unchanged at 9.6%. This is certainly welcome news, but these days it seems as though there are at least 10 pieces of bad economic news for every hopeful economic signal. So don't get fooled when the U.S. economy takes one step forward because it's about to take a dozen steps, another dozen or so steps backwards. We're living in the middle of a nightmarish long-term economic decline that has been building for generations. This deindustrialization of the United States, the horrific trade deficit by globalization and skyrocketing national debt are problems that have taken decades to develop. The Federal Reserve has been ripping the guts out of our financial system since 1913. These are not things that are going to be fixed overnight. In fact, there are some statistics that just keep getting worse and worse and worse as time goes by. We are heading straight for devastating economic collapse, and hopefully we can all warn as many people as possible while there is still time. The more research that you do into our economic situation, the more depressing it becomes. We are in big trouble. The following are 14 pieces of bad economic news that are so horrifying you might not want to read them while you're standing up. This is terrible. We're going to bail out Brown because apparently Brown knows better and can do things better than we can. And here it is. Let me get this crap off of here. It keeps popping up. I hate Microsoft shit too. Oh, excuse my French or English. It's just the way things are. Microsoft crap is crap. He could sell this program for $32, but he sells it for like $300. So you can see how he's making his billions so he can keep Agenda 21 going and sterilize Africa with his shots that he gives for free. Now, just do your research on that one. More than 42 million Americans were on food stamps during the month of August. That's an all-new all-time record. That number is 17% higher than it was a year earlier. In fact, the number of Americans on food stamps is up more than 58% since August of 2007. Too, the number of persons not in the labor force in the United States has set another all-time record. The United States has not had such an extended bout of mass unemployment since the Great Depression. So you tell me what we're in, a recession or a depression? If this outdoes the numbers of the depression, apparently we're in a depression and everybody's being lied to by the mass media The mainstream media, MSM, is lying their ass off to you, and you're sitting there listening to them as if it's gospel. More than 1,000 people now live in 200 miles of flood tunnels that exist under the city of Las Vegas. I just read that story yesterday. My God, I know that city. I know they had those tunnels. I didn't know people were living in there. The only time I ever heard of somebody living in the sewer system was probably the movie called Simon, King of the Witches. That's where he lived. An old movie back in the 70s. Poverty is absolutely exploding, and it's hitting those who are most vulnerable and the hardest. According to one recent study, approximately 21% of all children in the United States are living below poverty line in 2010. Number 5, the past 60 days alone, the price of cotton is up 54%. Corn is up 29%. The price of soybeans 22%. Orange juice up 17%. The price of sugar up 51%. You know why? Because Bernanke and buddies in the Federal Reserve are printing money faster, and you can see it coming out of the place. They're making skids of this money and bringing it out and dumping it on the market. And you're wondering why everything's going up, because the dollar's worth pennies now. Not even a dollar. It's worth probably under 25 cents per dollar. That's why everything's going up so high. 1 out of every 6 Americans now enrolled in at least one anti-poverty program ran by the federal government. Imagine that. Number 7, the American Bankruptcy Institute say that there will be about 1.6 million consumer bankruptcies in 2010. That would represent a huge increase over 2009. Number 8, according to one recent survey, 28% of all households have at least one member that is looking for a full-time job. Number 9, the individual U.S. states are mostly flat broke. For example, it is being reported that 15 largest U.S. states spent on average of 220% of their tax receipts over the past decade. Clearly, this is not even close to sustainable. Number 10, the U.S. government is completely and totally broke. After analyzing Congressional Budget Office data, Boston University economics professor Lawrence J. Kotaloff concluded that the U.S. government is facing a fiscal gap of $202 trillion. Oh my golly, we are broke. The only way we can do it is called default on the Federal Reserve for extortion of money from us, and make it null and void, and tell China to get these guys and bring them over there and execute them in their own country for frauding them. Because it's not really our fault. We just happen to be hoodwinked because the Federal Reserve bought the MSM. And they can tell you anything, and they think they got you hoodwinked. I hope not. They don't got me hoodwinked, because I'm telling you about it. In an attempt to keep our financial system solvent, the U.S. Federal Reserve has announced plans to create $600 billion out of thin air and pump it into the U.S. economy. The Fed is calling this quantitative easing. But what they should be really calling it is cheating, debasing, and inflating. Many of the major trading partners, number 12 says, the United States are expressing deep resentment regarding the new quantitative easing policy announced by the Fed. Ambrose Evans Pritchard recently described the growing animosity in this way. He said, Le Duchu from Beijing Economic Commission said a string of Asian states share China's deep bitterness over the dollar debasement and are examining ways of teaming up to insulate themselves from the tsunami of U.S. liquidity. That's right. They're going to, man, we're going to lose this country. They're just going to come over here and just kick us off of here. We're the new Indians, people. I hope you wake up and smell your red blood as an Indian, because you're going to be treated just like we treated the Indians now. We've been here too long. We're natives. And so now they got to get the Indians off the reservation, off the land, and into a new reservation called Camp FEMA. Oh well, for many analysts, the economic collapse of the United States comes down to cold hard math. For example, the former CEO of the 10th largest bank in the United States says that it's a mathematical certainty that the U.S. government will eventually go bankrupt, if it hasn't already. And 14, according to a recent article on CNBC, the financial world is already buzzing about a QE3, another quarterly easement. Yeah, they want to dump more money in. They were already talking about a QE3, said David Ravelli, managing director of the U.S. Equity Trading and Canaccord Adams. Eventually, we're going to be printing so much money, the dollar is going to really go down, and everybody's going to try to deflate their currency against us. I just don't know how this could end well. It's not going to end well. We're going to be left holding the bag, and China's going to be our new owners. But I heard that the Federal Reserve now is going to buy up our bonds. So we'll actually be owned by the European banksters who took us over from the beginning and have been stealing our money for the last 2 years. Actually 3 if you count 2008 when it all started. They started robbing us. Because too big to fail should have been allowed to fall, and fall hard, so everyone learned a lesson. Oh no, we pay off people that do criminal activities now. So is that all the Federal Reserve has left? Are we just going to keep pouring bags of money into the economy until things get back to normal? Are we going to have quantitative easing 3, quantitative easing 4, or quantitative easing 5? If it has been a long-running joke, perhaps the end of this thing, Ben Bernanke will probably literally go up in a helicopter and start shoveling out huge piles of cash over the countryside. The era of the great prosperity that we have all enjoyed for so long is coming to an end. It would be advisable to use the remaining period of economic stability that we still have to prepare for what is ahead. Yes, buy food, buy silver. I wouldn't advise buying gold even. Just buy silver. Silver is a good hedge off. It's cheap and you can get a lot of it for as much as you get 1 coin of gold. These economic problems could have been fixed decades ago if people would have actually listened and would have followed sound economic principles on individual and on corporate levels, but that didn't happen. Nobody wanted to listen to Ron Paul. Ron Paul tried to tell you what the hell was coming down the pike, and you all just thumbed your nose at him, apparently, reached the majority. The only people that didn't were the Tea Partiers, and that's where the real Tea Party started. The real Tea Party was Ron Paul, this neocon Tea Party that came out of it for this midterm election were the false Tea Partiers, even though that does have 25% of the real Tea Partiers in it from Ron Paul's era when he ran for president. But the rest of them were neocons. They all still want to jump in there. How many of them you know want to bring everyone home and close the bases down, 180 plus bases across the world, so we can get that money back in our country and end this? None of them. They want war, war, war for 1,000 years war. McCain even said he wanted to have a 100-year war if he got in as president. Obama said he didn't want no war and was going to bring them all home. Guess what? He lied. Ha! What's new? Now we're up in our eyeballs in debt. The greatest economic machine in history is rotting all around us. We are in deep, deep trouble, and denying it's not going to make it go away. Do you understand yet? Is it making any sense yet? Are you people waking up? We're going to have to stop the banks. One way or the other, we got to get the banks out of our money. We got to make Congress print coin money or something. I mean, if they even do paper, at least it won't have debt on it. And if you ever get the chance, watch The Secret of Oz. It will explain to you money doesn't have to have a backing. All it has to do is be ran by the government and not by banksters who charge interest on every dollar printed. We got to get out of this system of debt. It's a debt money system, and it's destroying this country. And if you watch The Secret of Oz, you will learn that there's twice in this country where we paid the deficit up and was the powerfulest country in the world until the bankers forced their way back in and took over the money system, and then here we are again. They took over since 1913, and they've been working ever since then to bring us to our knees and take this country down. They hate us. They're European banksters. Don't you understand? I think Rockefeller's the only one that's American. The rest of them are, there are 12, or I think there's 13 banks that own our money. And all of them are European banks. None of them are American except for Rockefeller, and he's in on it. So you people better wake up and smell the fascism coming down your pike, or you're all going to be slaves. Welcome to Camp FEMA when they come over here to claim their property. Man. Until next time, this is Spellbinder with this very disturbing and corrupt government allowing corruptness to continue without I mean, we got to restart the government up too. We got to fire them all and get all of them out. They got special interest running them. They got to go away. Good day, people.